Across the vast, sun-baked expanse of the Sahel, a profound geopolitical shift is underway. At its epicenter stands Captain Ibrahim Traore, a figure whose actions in Burkina Faso are not merely local politics, but a bold declaration echoing across the continent. This isn't just about one nation, it's about Africa's determined push to redefine its place in a world grappling with new power dynamics. When Captain Traoré seized power in 2022, Burkina Faso was a nation teetering on the brink. Plagued by a relentless jihadist insurgency and deep-seated economic fragility, the country faced existential threats. The traditional pathways of Western aid and military support, once seen as indispensable, were increasingly viewed as insufficient, even counterproductive, by a frustrated populace. Traoré's response was a radical departure from the norm. Instead of seeking further assistance from Paris or Washington, he pivoted, looking inward and eastward. This strategic reorientation marked a decisive rejection of foreign aid conditioned on political subservience, championing instead a robust vision of strategic autonomy. This concept, now central to his administration, posits an Africa that independently controls its resources, secures its borders, and articulates its interests with a unified voice on the global stage. Historically, foreign aid has often been a double-edged sword, providing immediate relief but sometimes entrenching dependency. Traoré's government, reflecting a growing sentiment across parts of Africa, argues that such aid frequently comes with implicit or explicit political strings undermining national sovereignty. This perspective views traditional development models as perpetuating a cycle where African nations remain junior partners rather than equal players. To forge this new path, Burkina Faso has actively cultivated new partnerships, security cooperation with Russia, regional solidarity with Mali and Niger, and a renewed focus on strengthening local institutions for economic independence are cornerstones of this strategy. These alliances are not merely transactional, they represent a deliberate effort to diversify geopolitical alignment and reduce reliance on former colonial powers. A pivotal moment in this redefinition of sovereignty arrived in August 2023 with the formation of the Alliance of Sahel States, ASS. This groundbreaking pact, uniting Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, signaled a dramatic shift away from established regional bodies like ECOWAS and traditional Western military frameworks. The ASS is explicitly rooted in principles of mutual defense and shared development, aiming to create a self-reliant security architecture. For decades, ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States, has been the primary regional bloc, often aligning with Western diplomatic and security interests. However, its perceived inability to effectively address the escalating security crises in the Sahel, coupled with its strong condemnation of military coups, led to a growing disillusionment among the new leaderships in these nations. The ASS emerged as a direct challenge to this established order, proposing an alternative model of cooperation built on the foundational principle of sovereignty first. This new alliance is more than a security pact, it represents a nascent economic and political bloc. By pooling resources and coordinating strategies, these nations aim to enhance their collective bargaining power and foster inter-regional trade and development. The ambition is to create a resilient, self-sufficient zone capable of addressing its own challenges without external interference. The formation of the ASS has elicited varied reactions globally. Critics in Western capitals often frame it as a regression, a return to militarism that threatens regional stability and democratic norms. They express concerns about the potential for authoritarian consolidation and the erosion of human rights. Conversely, a growing chorus of supporters, particularly within Africa, hails the ASS as a powerful manifestation of African self-determination. They see it as a necessary step to reclaim agency and chart an independent course, free from what they perceive as neo-colonial pressures. This bold experiment, though fraught with challenges, is undeniably gaining momentum, forcing a re-evaluation of geopolitical assumptions about the continent. Beyond regional alliances, Burkina Faso is actively reconfiguring its global economic and diplomatic ties. The nation is deepening its engagement with non-traditional partners like Russia and China, expanding trade routes and renegotiating mining deals. This strategic diversification is driven by a clear objective: to demand fairer terms for Africa's vast commodity wealth. Gold, manganese, and uranium, once largely exploited as cheap exports, are now viewed as critical bargaining chips in a rapidly evolving global order. Burkina Faso is rich in natural resources, particularly gold, which has seen a surge in production. Historically, the extraction and export of these resources have often benefited foreign corporations more than the local population. Traoré's government is pushing for greater national control over these industries, advocating for increased local processing, higher royalties, and more equitable profit-sharing agreements. This approach, often termed resource nationalism, seeks to leverage natural wealth for national development rather than allowing it to be a source of external dependency. The partnerships with Russia and China are multifaceted. Russia has emerged as a key security partner, providing military training, equipment, and strategic support, particularly in counterterrorism efforts. This relationship often bypasses the conditionalities associated with Western military aid, offering a more direct and less scrutinizing form of assistance. China, on the other hand, continues its extensive engagement in infrastructure development, trade, and investment, offering an alternative to Western financial institutions. These relationships are not without their own complexities, but they offer African nations greater leverage and choice in their development pathways. This proactive stance by a landlocked West African nation is profoundly significant. For decades, conversations about global trade, resource management, and security were largely dominated by European and North American powers. Now, Burkina Faso, under Traoré's leadership, is actively shaping these discussions, asserting its right to define its economic destiny. Traoré, a young soldier turned head of state, has unexpectedly become a potent symbol of this quiet, yet powerful revolution, embodying a new generation of African leaders determined to assert their continent's sovereignty. Yet the pursuit of power and sovereignty inevitably comes with its own set of risks and ethical dilemmas. Critics, both internationally and domestically, point to a concerning trend of rising censorship, tighter political control, and documented human rights concerns under Traoré's rule. These observations raise fundamental questions about the nature of true sovereignty. Can a nation truly be free if its own citizens are not afforded fundamental liberties? Reports from human rights organizations and independent media outlets detail restrictions on freedom of expression, arbitrary arrests, and a shrinking space for political dissent. These actions, while often justified by the government as necessary for national security and stability in a time of crisis, spark intense debate. The core tension lies in whether the immediate imperative of national independence and security should supersede the long-term goal of democratic governance and individual freedoms. For now, Traoré's administration offers a clear, albeit controversial answer: independence first, democracy later. This philosophy posits that a nation must first achieve genuine sovereignty and stability before it can successfully implement and sustain democratic institutions. From this perspective, Western definitions of democracy, often imposed without considering local contexts, have historically trapped many African nations in cycles of debt, dependency, and unstable transitions. The argument is that these external models have failed to deliver true prosperity or security, leading to a reevaluation of priorities. Traoré's vision is to rebuild national institutions on African terms, tailored to the specific cultural and historical realities of the continent. Only once this stable, self-reliant foundation is firmly established, he argues, can the door be genuinely opened to free and fair elections and a robust democratic process. This approach challenges the conventional wisdom that democracy is a prerequisite for development, suggesting instead that a strong sovereign state is the necessary precursor for a truly indigenous and sustainable democratic future. It's a thought-provoking stance that forces a re-examination of the universal applicability of Western political models. The world may still be grappling with the implications, but Burkina Faso's trajectory under Captain Traoré could very well mark the dawn of a new era for Africa. This is an era where the continent no longer passively awaits permission to lead, but actively asserts its agency and charts its own course. It's a powerful narrative of self-determination, challenging long-held assumptions about Africa's role in global affairs. As Captain Traoré's alliances expand and his message of sovereignty resonates across the continent, one truth becomes increasingly undeniable. The struggle for Africa's freedom is evolving. It is no longer solely fought on battlefields against colonial powers or insurgent groups. Instead, it is increasingly waged in the sophisticated arenas of international boardrooms, through the strategic deployment of data and information, and at the intricate diplomatic tables where global power is negotiated. This shift demands a new understanding of power dynamics and influence. Whether one agrees with the methods or the ideology, this is undeniably history unfolding in real time. Burkina Faso, once an overlooked nation in the vast Sahel, now stands as a potent symbol of a continent demanding to define itself on its own terms, free from external dictates. Its actions are a mirror reflecting a broader African aspiration for genuine independence, economic justice, and a respected voice in the global community. This is a moment of profound geopolitical significance, inviting deep analysis and critical engagement. The narrative of African sovereignty is complex, dynamic, and deeply impactful. It challenges established norms and demands a nuanced understanding of history, geopolitics, and the aspirations of millions. We invite you to delve deeper into these critical developments. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you perceive Burkina Faso's push for strategic autonomy? What are the potential long-term implications of the alliance of Sahel states for regional stability and global power dynamics? Engage with this evolving story, educate yourself on the diverse perspectives, and consider the profound implications for Africa and the world. Your informed participation is crucial in understanding this pivotal moment in history. Please consider subscribing to the channel, like and share to your colleagues. This channel is where you can stay informed on issues affecting the continent and the world.